Hello and welcome. My name is Christoph Clement from Printess, and I would like to show you about the buyer site today. So building the buyer site, we will see all the different kinds, not all, but the starting point of building a buyer site, and I will look at a lot of details. So let's get right into it. First of all, we create a new template here from scratch, and I will go for a square template. What I want to try to achieve here is a mug to have a product to showcase you where this is all about. And it will be not the most beautiful mug, but actually I will go over all the different facets about the buyer site. So let's start really from the basic. Let's put this text frame on here. And as you might know, you always can toggle to the buyer side so that this is the part you actually see later in the shop by clicking the shopping basket. And then you will see the document, how your user or your shop user later will see it. And in that case, I see it, but I can't do anything else than add to basket. We could say we have built a static print product, which is actually just have one line of text, which says fancy text. I can't do anything about it. So the first step would be, if we want to make this personalized, if we don't want to sell a static product, which we can do, we need to make this editable. So down here, these shopping cart icons indicate always whenever they are buyer side settings. So when selecting a text, the shopping cart icon shows me the properties for this specific frame. If I turn on content for text, I am immediately available to edit this text in the buyer side. That's fine. And it actually works the exact same way when we inserting an image. So just take the placeholder image here, maybe make it a little bit bigger. So like this. And if we turn on the editability here for the user, again, content, just content, not the frame moving, not anything. We just work with content right now. And if I go to the buyer side, I'm now able to upload an image to this particular frame. That's it. So at least what we have done is we have done a nice design. So we should show the people how this will look on a mug later on. So one very important thing about the buyer site is a product preview. It's always two-phase. It's designing a product, and in the second phase, it's about showing a preview of the product. What we will do to create a preview, we create a new document and we call it preview. We set this as the preview document here in the menu. So it will have this little eye indicator, so we know. Then we go and make the page size like square again, which might fit. And now we need some images. So I have a mug image here, just a white mug. And if I'm start using this, I can place it on my document, and what we need to do now is we need to put our design onto this mug. That will be not the most beautiful version I'm doing right now. There's a lot of things you can do better, but first of all, we need this document and we need to get it on this mug. So what we're doing is we can simply drag this document onto here, and we don't want to insert it into the mug image. We just want to place it somewhere here. Another way to do that is simply go to new frame and just click on the document over here, and it will be added as well. So let's make this a little bit bigger here so that we're using the same dimensions like the mug has. Oops. And then we just will use the mug filter for now. You can do that more precisely with the perspective and the mesh, but let me just put some angle in here, and let's see. And we need an offset to get it more rounded. Something like that. Okay. Good enough. We can have other tutorials about creating previews, but for now we will be fine. One thing we can do is we can set this maybe to multiply here, so it looks a little bit more like it's printed on the mug. And another trick is always to reduce the opacity a little. So that's fine. So when we now go back to our document and click on the basket icon, we come to the same buyer side, of course. We can now say hello, and we can go in here and we upload an image. And when now we have this little preview button here because we have a preview document. And if I click on the preview button, I see the preview of my mug. And now I can add it to the basket later on. So that's good. I can always go back, change something, and go to the preview again, and it automatically updates. So that's the first point, the preview. We have done this. If you just want to have a mug with a photo on it, you just can have this frame as big as a square, and you'll find it basically done. And I would even say that the current buyer site looks pretty nice because it's very tidied up, and we don't need much of extra settings or so on. But in many cases, it starts from here, but then it actually extends. One of the typical ways how you can extend a template is to offer the user different layouts. Sometimes the layouts are already picked in the shop itself, in the product catalog, but you also can offer the user, once they're in a product, you can offer them to pick layouts. And this is what I will do now. So I deleted my 2 frames. I go to snippets. I go to layout snippets. And I have prepared a set of layout snippets for this mug. Very simple. So I create a new group here with this little plus. I did this a little quick. So let me do it again. So I go to layouts. I click on the shopping basket here again, because we want to configure the buyer side. I click on plus. It inserts me a new layout snippet cluster, how we like to call it. And now we can look for some tags. And I have prepared some Printess mug smalls, which is actually a set of layout snippets, which we easily can see when we say show and search. And these layout snippets can now be applied to the document. Whatever I click, it will actually apply one of these layout snippets. The good thing is that this automatically works in your buyer side now. So you now got this change layout button, which is flashing to attract attention of the user. And it gives also a nice hint here, tell the people here's where you need to click to change the layout. So when I click on here, I'm actually having this layout. I can start writing something in here. If I click on a different one, I have a photo. I can upload my image here. And I can actually also change the layout. And the cool thing is this photo will stay the same. So even here, I can say I'm Christoph, which doesn't make any sense with the picture. But anyhow, the way these layout snippets are created is extremely easy, but that will be another tutorial. It's actually nothing else like Printess documents, which are exported as layout snippets. But for now, we now have this change layout option. So that's something we can do now in our buyer side. And it starts with the image that we already have on screen. So we're starting with a simple image. People can click on this frame and they can upload images. Interestingly, what about if I want to have this frame, for example, selected right in the moment when somebody enters the buyer side? So I can do so when I click on the frame, and I can actually set the autofocus for the no frame steps only frame here, which actually lead to the fact that when I go to the buyer side, it auto selects this frame. So I simply can click upload image. There is more than layouts. There is also a way to allow people more flexibility, which sometimes is the case, that you want say, hey, somebody should also be able to add a text to this image if they want to. This is what we all handle with stickers. So stickers are not like stickers with fixed images. Stickers are flexible elements. Again, built in Printess like layout snippets. Just take a document, put something on, export as a sticker, and you got a sticker. And we already have prepared some stickers. So very typical stickers are the basic text here. So people used to ask all the time, how can I let someone insert text? And there is no insert text function. The reason for that is that text is not like text. There are a million ways of text, and we don't know what kind of font, what kind of size we want people to insert. So we actually have stickers for everything. So you freely design and you'll be able to change the thumbnails, the design that's inserted, the font, the size, the color. So all that can be predefined. And to have that flexibility, it all works via stickers. So let's go to the shopping basket again, but now for the stickers section. Click on the plus here. We can change the headline to add text, for example. Oops. And then we select the basic text here. And we also can, for example, select more, like the Printess calligraphy is also a very nice set. You can use all the things in your documents, by the way. They're completely copyright free and they're only using free fonts and all that. So you can be 100% sure, but you also can do as many as you want. And it's so simple. So when I actually do that, and now my frame is auto selected, but if I deselect my frame, I'm coming to that region where all the text that I'm put in here are actually available. What we see now, what I don't like so much is that I have one line, I got my standard text, and then it's all mixed up with the calligraphy elements. To avoid that, what we can do is we actually can go to the shopping basket and we have maybe add another section, add calligraphy. And here we select the calligraphy tag and we remove it from here. So we have now two clusters and those two clusters are actually appearing right here. Again, I have an autofocus. So when I select this frame, I'm actually seeing that frame. If I deselect it, I'm coming there. If I go to a layout snippet again, changing my layout here, I can click on the frame and I can change all the properties of that layout. One interesting aspect is, as more as you add to that, it gets a little bit distracting. So we started with a very simple buyer site where I could change a text or an image. And now we are in a kind of, we are on the way to a layout tool. And what you see here is that some elements are here, some are there. If I select them, they disappear. So things could be different if you use a lot of things that are flexible and defined by the user. And therefore, we have more UI settings. You will find the UI settings in the menu under buyer view appearance. So these dialogues gives a lot of checkboxes, and I guess there will be more in the future because buyer side is so dependent on the product, but also on your concept, how you see your buyers, what you learn from them, how you want to actually cater that to their needs. So there is not a one size fits all. So buyer side is extremely flexible in Printess. And there is a pretty new feature now with our version 1, and you can always reach this dialog in the buyer side. So let me do the following. Let me click on Show Photo Snippets tabs. This is actually a different concept of a buyer side design, which is really handy if you are allow the people to change layout, to add snippets, to do a lot of different things. So when I do that, and it actually gives me another checker here that I allow adding images, I will come to that, and we get initial tab. We will learn all that. So here I am, and what I see now is that tab bar, which is very familiar from many solutions on the web. So if you have a very simple layout, again, you might not need it. If you do more, it can be a real help and orientation for the users. Because now the big difference is when I switch to the buyer side and this frame is auto-selected, which doesn't need to be, because now I can just go there and turn off the autofocus, which actually gives me a no selected mode when I switch to the buyer side. But I always have my photos on top here. So I can go there, upload the image, and then the frame is selected and I'm in the image mode and I can do my manipulations. I can zoom here, wherever. So also I have my layout tab. So I can change the layout right from the tab, and also I can insert stickers. What I haven't done so far is I never clicked on one. So let me just click on one. Let me click the I love you thing in here and change maybe the color to white. And we also be able to change the text here, of course, because it's a snippet, so we can actually insert text. That's now we are actually kind of in a mode where we can do a lot of things, and we are pretty much in a layout tool, but we give a lot of flexibility to our customers, but it's still quite easy to use. And one other aspect is, and that's might you have realized, we didn't allow the people. Let me just delete. We didn't allow the people to move frames. So this frame I can move because I inserted it. If I add it via a sticker, it always gives me the ability to move this. If I don't, I won't have it. That's important. So maybe you think, wouldn't it be great for my users, because I've seen that at other platforms, that they could even move the elements that are coming from the layout. As we all know, you can do that. You can, for any frame that you're actually offering, you can actually click on the frame, you can allow the position and rotation, and maybe even to delete this thing. So when you click on this, you will see I got my catches here. I can actually change the size of this frame. I can move this around, and I can upload the image. Problem here is maybe that it gets a little bit too complex for your users who want to really quickly design something. And as we all know, all these settings works for mobile and desktop. So for mobile, it's even smaller area, and sometimes it could be a little tricky because people tend to move the frame instead of the image, and then they don't know how to get it back. So that's the reason why we decided that it's very hard to do everything right for every kind of user. So you can decide if you want to allow them to move this or don't. And with version 1 now, there is a new feature, which is also quite handy, because what you can do, you can go to the, I can actually do that in the buyer side, of course, because I can open the settings dialog. And once I've opened that, I can also make the show expert mode button available, which gives you actually this button here. And now, so this frame is deletable, which I will actually turn off again. Sorry for that. So let us turn off again that. It's just only the content. And if I'm clicking on this frame now, this frame is not movable at all. But if I turn on the expert mode, everything gets editable and movable. And you also get this expert menu here, which gives you more settings for the frame, like bring it in front, put it in the back, and even the way how the image is sized in the frame, either if it fits or fills. So more options are available. We're actually giving more burden to the user because they can do more. And that's quite interesting. If you allow the expert mode, people can toggle, and it gives you the chance to start with a very simple user interface. But for the ones who really want to do more, they can do more. Let me talk a little bit more about the tabs that we have used now before we come to other concepts. So because we have turned on the tab navigation, we have another setting here, which is a tab. And now we can actually change the tab to either one of the tabs that's available, which automatically will be translated to any language when switching to the buyer side, or you could actually, of course, like always, change the translation, add your own translations. But they're pre-made, but you also can create your own tabs. I will come to that. So let me both put them in the text tab, because it has an advantage since we now have a text tab here, which is much clearer for people to add a text frame. We can also have stickers now. So let's go there and let's say Printess sticker, some category here, and now we got a sticker tab as well, and we can insert some really nice artworks or other elements to that. In the Photos tab, we are able to upload images, but what's also possible is that we can allow people to add their own photo frames. So whenever I create another category and put it to photos, and I can select the Printess photo tag here for the snippets. As again, you can create as many snippets and tags as you want, build your own, but just for the tutorial, it's extremely important now to work with them and not intermix everything. So I taking that photos, which actually gives me a selection of photo frames. So if we go and toggle here, we now see add photo frame as another tab here, because photos belong to photos. If I want to add photos, it's over here in the tab. In the normal navigation, which we always, if we want, we can switch. So let's go to the buyer view appearance again, turn off this tab. all our snippets are actually appearing in that categories on the right hand side. So let's get back and turn the tabs on, since this gives us quite a nice interface for our mark where we can change the layouts, we can actually add text to that, we can actually do the same thing like we did. We can upload images to the photo, we can select the photo, we can go via the Photos tab, and we can go to Preview and we see the preview, we can add it to the basket. Pretty much a good mark configuration engine here. So that's for the first part of the buyer side tutorial. Thanks for watching and listening. I will continue with the next part, talking a little bit in depth about tabs, and also we will take form fields into the mix. So hope to see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.